course, we are still talking about the various tension that is springing forth right now across the country, looking at in preparation for the 2027 election. People will say that the election is still far, and we should talk governance. But then we've seen it is what it is right now across the country, where a lot of political heat is going across various states. As it stands right now, almost all the states are already getting set for elections that is just 2 years away. But words would not be enough to even say that at this point in time, if election is conducted tomorrow, of course, Nigerians are already set because the tension is heated. But let's even talk back to Chidi. Let's take the conversation back to Chidi. Now, all right, Chidi, are you still there with us? All right, Chidi, when we look at the various tension that we have right now in the country, from the east through to the west, to the south, and back to the north, when we look at all of this prepared together, one will begin to ask a very salient question. Are we in the right track in preparation for our elections? That's one. Two, can we call this a political awareness in preparation for election? Two. Three, can we call this the development of political culture, or the revolution of political culture that has moved and transcend the normal cognitive orientation, affective and evaluative orientation that we were used to, and this is just another phase of our democratic growth and development? Can we begin to put this even within the academic confines to prefer to know if we've entered into another level of political demonstration, belief, and evolution?
I think Nigerians are becoming increasingly politically aware, and I believe Nigerians are becoming increasingly and politically aware of their environment. That is what I think is happening. Also, the ripples of 2023 elections is actually also part of the thing you see playing out, because a lot of people believe so much that the 2023 election outcome was swayed. So, and they still believe that they can still correct that line. That is what I think is still happening. But the first port of call is that Nigerians, I think, are increasingly politically aware of their environment and really want a change. That is what you can see, what I can make out of this.
And you are not thinking at this point that this is an evolution of the Nigerian political system, because we've never had it this good before, when Nigerians are already getting set and prepared. So should we begin, when we look at this, even hypothetically, can we say that this is an evolution of the Nigerian democratic system, where as soon as Nigerians cast their vote and election victors are emerge in informed elections, now Nigerians are already set for the next election, and this by extension should be a school of thought or a study for other African countries to be more politically aware, even when it has to do with electionary matters?
You see, when you talk about political revolution with our democracy, if you attach it, then I should tell you that before attaching democracy to the political revolution, it must be it must end with credibility. If it doesn't, then it might be a revolution that has no politics attached to it. But as it were now, let us just hang it on the point that Nigerians are being politically aware of their environment and really want to change. If you say it's a revolution, let's watch until it gets to that revolutionary length. But to me, what is happening is good for Nigerians. It is also good for democracy. But before we begin to talk about copying or other African countries, nobody copies a failure. We've not got it right, as it were. To me, as a person, I feel we've not got it right. The election system in Nigeria is still massively flawed. So until we fix it, something like fixing, or if we're able to fix the INEC regulations before 2027, such that the Beavers will be able to reflect directly the outcome of the polls that right from the polling booth, then it's a step in the right direction. It will also restore hope on these teeming Nigerians who are actually yearning for change. It doesn't matter who becomes the winner, but it matters that the will of the people prevails in the end of the whole thing. Then that is when we'll be talking about democracy and the revolution we are talking about attached to it. But as it were now, we are only seeing a people who are interested in making something happen. That is what I can see and feel from Nigerians now. But until we get it right, before we talk about African countries copying what we are doing here. My take.
We're saying that with this length of political exposure that we are having right now, we should not rather coin a name for it, even within the academic space, to begin to talk around this era, because we've never had this much of awareness so far in our nascent democratical growth for 26 years, where people are more enlightened, people are more aware. Shouldn't we begin to sell this as a knowledge to other African countries, looking at it from I know you've come out to say that, hey, because of the fact that for you there's not been fairness, there's not been credibility, and what have you. But then this is an evolutionary process. And I don't know how you see it, but I'm asking from the political angle, shouldn't we begin to sell this narrative to other African countries that politics have moved from the cognitive orientation, that's moved that in terms of political culture, that we've moved from the affective orientations, that we've moved past the line of the evaluative orientation. And right now we are doing more of a Niger-centric orientation, which will evolutionize the political landscape across the world.
Who copies the other, comrade? The person who is getting it right or the person who is not getting it right? Let me tell you something. Recently, Botswana concluded an election, voted out the incumbent, and the opposition won, and nobody heard anything about it. Ghana, same thing happened, nobody heard it. So why will you be selling a failure for other countries to copy? Like I told you, I repeat, Nigerians are increasingly aware of their political surroundings. But until we fix the election itself, you cannot begin to tell any other person to copy from you. You can only tell somebody to copy what you are doing right. If I am burning in the fire and you will tell me to copy for you, then what do I copy? How to die? The answer is no. So I think, first of all, let us get it right. The moment we get it right, other African countries will celebrate Nigeria. Remember, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. As we speak now, Nigeria being a giant, I don't know the kind of giant that we are now. We've lost our glory. Our currency used to be very good before. Now you know where we are. Before now, there are some things that we are, at least we can boast of being better off against other African countries. But today, even the smallest countries in Africa are laughing at us. I watched on TV the other day when one official from Botswana was saying they say Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Literally say because Nigeria is one in every 4 blacks. But what has that got to do with him going to the market and there is no made in Nigerian goods in his shop? There is no this coming from Nigeria. So it is just basically by size. I think if we are able to fix our electoral system and we have a good election in Nigeria for the first time probably, then we will be celebrated, and other countries will need to come and copy from us. But at the moment, I can tell you, nobody copies what is not actually working perfectly, unless you want to go and test run something that has been used that failed. Then you begin to fine tune it.
It stands right now, when we look at where we're coming from and where we are right now, we'll say that when it has to do with political orientation and political preparation and being politically aware, we are more better right now. Can we even agree on that right now, Chidi?
Yes, I agree with you. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. We are better off politically in political awareness the way it is now. 2023 election puts more Nigerians. In fact, even from the data from INEC, more and more people went to register for voters card so that they can be eligible to vote during 2023 elections. So I hope the same thing repeats again in 2027 elections. I pray it repeats, because like I said, a lot of Nigerians, I'm not the only one saying it, everybody, a great number of Nigerians were disenchanted with the outcome of 2023. I hope at the end of the day, even with the brouhaha that is happening now, we don't actually find less people than we had in 2023 at the polling booth in 2027. I pray it doesn't happen. But like I said before, we have more Nigerians who are more politically aware of their surroundings, and that is a good one for us. If we keep on this engagement and this tempo, I think it will get to a time where Nigerians will be able to, come together as a country and say, this is who we want. And if everybody wins that trust, then the person will go in for it. Well, gradually we are getting there.
Gradually it is, we are getting there, Chidi. I want to say thank you so much for finding out time to be with us here on Big Talk.
Thank you, and good evening, Nigerians.
Well, this is how far we can go today on the show Big Talk. Do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen, and you can also download the Global TV 9